What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Lady Gaga, and once again I'd like to give a massive shout out to Mikey, not only for sharing some Lady Gaga tunes at the beginning of this musical journey, as well as Ace of Base and a number of Lucky Dip reactions I've done, but I'd like to give a special shout out to Mikey because, as people will see in my descriptions of videos, I always paste a comment about those who'd like to support me in a material sense can subscribe to my Patreon as full members, for which they will receive some extra content and members-only content, as well as early access to the video reactions I do, and in some cases the video reactions get blocked here on YouTube, so it's exclusive access over on Patreon. But I also have a sentence about those who'd like to make a one-time donation can do so via PayPal at this address. And not only has Mikey been supporting me on Patreon, but he sent me now a couple notable donations on PayPal, including one just a couple days ago, and I am so massively appreciative, not only for the material support that it represents, and believe me, that does make a big difference, but also for what it represents and the way in which it is validating to me on these musical journeys that we're all going on and the community that's built up around my channel. Indeed, not only have I seen in a number of different deep dives longtime fans of bands or artists come to a new understanding or even a new appreciation of certain tunes and albums through my reactions, in some cases through my very ears and eyes and how I approach a tune, but also because of the information provided by other fans. In some cases, for example, I've been going through the Roxette catalog, and there's two people who met in the deep dive through that band on my channel who've since gone to a concert together. So it's just really great to see all the musical exploration and enjoyment, and to have people give back to me in a direct material way is once again not only very helpful to me in a practical sense, but is very enjoyable on a conceptual level, because it tells me that we're all having fun in this and that we can all take something away from it. So in a way, I feel like I'm the conductor of this musical train, but those who are also along for the ride make a great difference to me emotionally and, again, materially. So once again, big shout out to Mikey and to all those who supported me on Patreon, and a handful of those who've sent me direct donations on PayPal. You are massively appreciated, and I am very grateful. In any case, we are going to listen to the Lady Gaga tune Born This Way from the album of the same name, 2011. Mikey did mention to me this is an LGBTQ anthem and is very direct in that messaging and associations, even, using words in relation to that movement or that community rather, and is not opaque or, needing interpretation to be seen in that light. And ultimately, I do like the sentiment that's expressed, this idea that, this isn't a choice, this is an identity that goes back to birth, to the earliest understanding in days. And sometimes I feel like that notion is critiqued by those who are outside the community and like to pontificate about which things they are not part of and do not know. So it feels like a empowering and what's the right word? Not self-righteous, that can be used in a critical way, but a self-affirming type of way. So yes, I'm curious as to the sonic stylings, knowing that a number of her tunes have a very electronic and dance-oriented sound. I would not be surprised to hear that, but I don't imagine in the wider catalog of Lady Gaga that all such tunes, or all tunes, will have such stylings. I will say Mikey mentioned that he put on the manifesto that she apparently reads at the beginning of the music video for the song. And for those who are curious, I do music video reactions mostly over on Patreon, because a lot of them I do get blocked here on YouTube, which is, I think, in part because I like to have the video be the majority of the screen and my little face bubble with my webcam is off in the corner. And I get that that makes it more likely to be blocked, but I feel like in general the music video is what people are looking to see, so I've continued to do it that way. At some point I will start reacting to Lady Gaga tunes, or rather music videos, and even if most of them have to stay over on Patreon, eventually my music videos, although they're released early for full members, they have an embargo period after which they're publicly available. So either way, we will go through some of those eventually, but for now I'm doing audio reactions. But Mikey did edit the track in a way that puts the manifesto she reads at the beginning of the tune here in audio form, and he mentioned that there's a background, I think from Vertigo, the Hitchcock film, And I didn't realize it in the moment, but now having an understanding that Bad Romance featured some lines in relation to Hitchcock films, it seems like that is an artistic and creative interest of Lady Gaga's, which I find great. I'm into a number of movies and have seen multiple Hitchcock films, so that is a little cool side note. In any case, let's give it a listen. This is Lady Gaga and the tune Born This Way from the album of the same name, 2011.
This is the manifesto of Mother Monster. On Goat, a government-owned alien territory in space, a birth of magnificent and magical proportions took place. But the birth was not finite, it was infinite. As the wombs numbered, and the mitosis of the future began, it was perceived that this infamous moment in life is not temporal, it is eternal. And thus began the beginning of the new race, a race within the race of humanity, a race which bears no prejudice, no judgment, but boundless freedom. But on that same day, as the Eternal Mother hovered in the multiverse, another more terrifying birth took place, the birth of evil. And as she herself split into two, rotating in agony between two ultimate forces, the pendulum of choice began its dance. It seems easy, you imagine, to gravitate instantly and unwaveringly towards good. But she wondered, how can I protect something so perfect without evil? It doesn't matter if you love him or capital H-I-M. Just put your paws up, 'cause you were born this way, baby. My mama told me when I was young, we're all born superstars. She rolled my hair, put my lipstick on, in a glass of purple dry. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. There's in a million the same. I'm beautiful in a way, just not mixed up mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't let yourself regret, just love yourself and you say, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. There ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. There ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Subway can rejoice the truth. In the religion of the insecure, I must be myself, respect my youth. A different heart is not a sin, but leave capital H-I-M. Hey. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, you're black, white, beige, chola descent, you're Lebanese, you're Orient. Whether life's disabilities left you outcast for leader teased, rejoice and love yourself today, cause baby, you were born this way. No matter gay, straight or bi, lesbian, transgender life, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to survive. No matter black, white, or beige, chola or Orient me, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to be brave.
Wonderful. So it's funny, I was thinking, when I do these reactions, audio reactions, most of the tunes I'm hearing I've never heard before, and indeed, I do know a couple Gaga tunes just by, proximal association, meaning hearing them on the radio, a couple of them at my work, and so on. But this one I'd never heard before, and as the song was going along, I'm trying to catalog the lines, or at least parts of lines that I'm hearing, and I was thinking that, she's talking very directly, but also with lines that extend beyond just the essence of the meaning I went into this with a sense of. And indeed, it seems like she's talking about, if you're born with this nationality, or you have this ethno-cultural background and so on, you were born that way, and you're on the right track. You don't need to apologize for that or try to conform yourself to assimilate to some other nature. It's very affirming on multiple levels and in multiple dimensions. And I was thinking, like, biologically, like someone's genetics, their very DNA. And at the end, she's literally saying that. So I feel like that was a message that came across, even if it took a while for me to hear it explicitly. And indeed, she might have said that earlier in the track, but I didn't really hear that clearly until the end. And I love the fusion of stylings. Again, it's got a very dance floor type of feel with a mechanical grit to it. It really had an edge in some of the synth work and the syncopated moments at the end of the measures and the almost like grinding type of sound as it went from section to section. And I do enjoy in some places where it sort of turns inside out and gets very cavernous, and it feels like we're in a sort of interdimensional limbo waiting for the next section to come around. So I like the chronology and the composition. And I love that section near the end, which had almost this soul gospel type of vibe, with the voices being very celebratory, which again seems to very much fit with the idea that, this, you were born this way, this is who you are, and you can be proud of that, you can celebrate that. This isn't something to hide or to feel bad about or to take grief over. This is one of your qualities. This is part of your essence and your identity, and it's something to affirm, something to embrace and celebrate. And the idea of loving who you are, I think, is one of those fundamental truisms, that to be happy in a meaningful sense, to be able to love other people, I think it starts internally, and you have to come to terms with who you are. And although that doesn't mean that you can't try to better yourself or try to round off the jagged edges of a personality that won't be perfect, because again, nobody's perfect, I think it's a very wonderful starting point to come to terms with who you are, to embrace that, to love that, and everything can then radiate outward. So I think that comes across in the meaning, and the, again, soulful, almost gospel style rejoicing that comes through sonically at the end of the track, I think is a great crystallization of that type of sentiment. So a really cool tune, and one that, again, suggests there's a lot of wicked electronic stylings, but with a lot of ideas and concepts of significance on top of that. Which is to say, again, I listen to lots of trance and techno, and fair to say, and hardcore and other electronic genres in the rave scene going back a few decades. And there are tracks in some of those genres and some of the records that I have in my collection which have samples or quotations in the track that have profound meaning and speak to significant humanistic type of qualities. But of course, a proper song with verses and choruses can take those concepts beyond what a lot of the trance and techno I listen to. So to hear some of her songs, get a sense for the significance of a lot of things she sings about, but also to hear some wicked electronic stylings, including some acid work already, where, you know, the raver brain in my head is like, ooh, like I like that just from a musical or sonic standpoint. It's a great synthesis of some different angles in my musical enjoyment. So once again, shout out to Mikey for sharing music, for donating to me, for being part of my musical life and the journeys on this channel, and to all those who've been part of these different deep dives, and especially those who've supported me on Patreon or sent PayPal donations. You are all greatly appreciated. Let me know what you think of the tune, and the Sleeping Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.